Fellow Americans, what do we have here? Chaotic scenes at Kabul Airport as thousands flee the Taliban. Alright, so let me tell y'all this on my behalf is I really don't know too much about what's going on across seas with the Taliban in Afghanistan and them, the Taliban taking over. I just been hearing little stuff and seeing little stuff here. We was done with the Taliban, like we defeated the Taliban. Last I remember, we went to war with them when I was a child, or the war started, should I say, when I was a child. And like these people still exist. I'm thinking like, America versus the Taliban, like no biggie, knock them out the way. But I guess I was wrong. I'm probably wrong on a lot of this information. So, just mind me on this one because I'm lost myself. So, I guess the Taliban is still active and they're still taking. I was wrong on everything, Let's get into this video. I'm very interested to see what's going on.
Hey Becky, well, there are scenes of panic and pandemonium at Kabul Airport today as desperate people pour onto the runway trying to flee the country in what can only be described as a chaotic exodus. Now,
so we got a big airplane that says U.S. Air Force. Now we got a military airplane. Look at this guy. So it must not be that serious. He's sitting there waving and, they're supposed to be running for their lives. And then another thing, where's the women and the children? All you see is all men. So you tell me all these men then...
literally clinging on to U.S. military aircrafts as they try to take off. The U.S. is in charge of the airport there, but their focus is on the evacuation of American personnel. As far as commercial flights go, it's a disorderly mess.
The fact they see all these people and the plane is still going. And that guy is flicking them off. Look. I'm sorry, y'all, I don't mean to laugh, and look, this guy's waving his hand again. So is this serious or is this a joke? I don't know. This is my first time seeing it. But, it's a lot of stuff that comes to my head. Once again, I try to put myself in their position if this is real and they're chasing after this plane because, they're running from an enemy. That would be scary if that's the case. But honestly, they don't look scary. This just looks like a scene out of a movie. Like, what's going to happen when a plane takes off? And then these people is all in front of the plane. I know it had to be a death. It had to be. Just look at the scene, you guys. I'm going to let you guys look at that for a minute. With thousands of people, and you have this big old gigantic plane in motion.
And the commercial flights are currently not running. We know that as of last night, the U.S. military had flown around 500 embassy personnel out of the country on military aircraft. They're working up to a capacity of several thousand out per day, but they won't have that capability for a few days to come. As for the Afghans that have worked in...
I was not going to laugh. I didn't think I was going to laugh at this video. But these people are crazy and funny. I don't know if this is serious. They might be trolling the plane. You know what I mean? Just because if it was that serious, you would see, I think you would see women and children.
It's going to be a much tougher journey to get out of the country. As I mentioned, commercial flights are problematic. Thousands of Afghans are stranded at the airport with their suitcases and whatever other belongings they could muster together. And just getting to the airport, Becky, from far-flung locations in Afghanistan means having to run a very dangerous gauntlet that could cost them their lives. There are also reports that NBC News can't confirm that 5 people have been killed at the airport. It's unclear under what circumstances. It could have been gunfire. It could have been a stampede, but it's so chaotic there. The details are only dripping out as the day unfolds.
Again, this is how put yourself in their position. Like, imagine this at JFK Airport. LAX airport, a stampede, shootouts, ridiculous. That's the type of things that's why I'm glad to be in America, man. I love my freedom. I love taking care of my kids. I know it's a lot of bad things that go on in America, but just look at where you want to be in America or you want to be somewhere else. So on that note, we gonna light one for the freedom. Thank you, my American soldiers that's out there doing what y'all do. But I'm good where I'm at, and I'm proud to be an American. I know it's a lot of let me say this. I'm proud to be in America. I don't know about being too proud to, we're not going to get
Video
into all
of,
that politics right
the
now.
Afghan citizens kind of surrounding the military transport plane and trying to grasp onto the sides of the. We've watched that again and again this morning. And I just wonder what happened. Do you know what the end result was? The plane can't take off
Exactly.
like this. Did they pull it aside?
Exactly. So she
No,
was thinking the same thing I was thinking. What
the
happened?
planes
Somebody
actually
had to
took
get
off, and
hurt.
there was also some very disturbing video that's emerged of people falling out of the wheel hub of the airplane after it had taken off. But most of the planes were grounded because they simply couldn't take off because there was a stampede of people on the runway, literally, as the video showed, clinging onto the plane. So a lot of them had to be grounded, and then the U.S. Army then had to form a perimeter around the runway to stop people coming, pouring onto the runway, and they had
I'm
to
sorry,
fire warning shots.
I think they're trolling the United States Air Force, man. Look at that guy right there. That looked photoshopped. It looked like he's photoshopped out of here. All these people do. I'm not saying it is Photoshop. I'm just saying the way that the frame is of the video. I don't think this.
Dispersed people. So
Sorry.
it's a real mess there, and you can see that the Afghan people, who are obviously not supporters of the Taliban, are desperate to find a way out of that country, even resorting to clinging on to wheels of airplanes.
You mentioned how dangerous it is even to try and make the run to get out. And I guess that if you look like you are trying to get away, then obviously you're not a supporter, and that puts you at incredible risk.
Exactly. And you see, one of the problems there, Becky, is that the U.S. had said to Afghans that had been helping U.S. personnel and had granted them visas, they said, look, come down to Kabul Airport and we'll evacuate you. The problem with that is
that's the problem right there. America, you told these people to come to this airport and you evacuate them. So these people came for evacuation and left with this situation. Okay.
far-flung
That's
parts
what
of
he
the
said,
country.
right?
It's a vast
I believe
country.
that's what they said.
They didn't have any money 2 weeks ago to get a commercial flight from some corner of the country to Kabul to get evacuated. And they just simply couldn't go by roads with their families because it was too dangerous. If the Taliban caught them, at best they would be detained, and at worst they would be killed. So it was this really dangerous gauntlet that they had to run through the country, which many of them were.
I'm still wondering where is the women and children. I have not yet seen one in these vehicles or these videos.
And are now in hiding, totally unaware of what the future holds for them, as the Taliban has now totally overrun the country.
Prayers, man. Prayers for the whole world. Apparently, it's a lot of stuff going on, but I mean, what can we really say? I'm speechless, y'all. I don't know what to say. I thought we was done with the Taliban. Doesn't make sense.